The major Scordisi army threatening our heartland was a minor concern to Acritatus, who hands down have grown into the role as king. With all the constructions going on in Logia, the economy will surely be able to support another force of proper Spartan hoplites. One loyal to the crown, just in case Galenus, the leader of the most experienced army, rebels. He is the real threat to our expanding society. However, if that were to happen, more would be lost than just able bodies to fight for us. That man is in direct control of all the grain supplying Logia. The winter alone would kill us all if that happens. Eugenius, the heir of Sparta, had finally come of age, showing his exceptional authority. The tutor told us he was a gifted leader, with him already having gained a bit of military experience. Fit for command. He would take over for Diodorus, who instead got charged to muster the new army. His first decision was to recruit more Sarmatian lancers, trying to replicate the success of Galenus. He had an enemy to deal with himself actually. The Dark Key had moved out towards Olbia with an impressive cavalry contingent. And his response to this? Sit back and encamp, hoping they would move through his lands and into Logia. Of course, as unpredictable as barbarians are, they laid siege to the port just to break it themselves. But why? No one knows, and even fewer cared. All eyes were on the royal family. Philaea had at last reached adulthood just like her older brother Eugenius. She had studied to become an excellent diplomat and organizer, helping to satisfy the citizens. In the south, our Macedonian brothers in arms had lost their client state Thyni to the Scordisi. They simply didn't have the numbers to protect them and their capital at once. Heck, they had already lost Larissa to the Romans once again. Sure, the situation was horrendous, just like when we lived in Greece. But it is nothing compared to our situation, where the Dark Key had pulled out with a second army, and most likely the Scordisi army that captured Odessa would also arrive soon. Cause of their relentless aggression has been the only reliable factor so far. If Galenus waited any longer, his chances of victory would be less than if Abalus, the child of Zeus, appeared out of nowhere to save the day. Fearing no army hiding behind wooden sticks, he attacked, burning them down to the ground in the only style he knows. No survivors. With more armies on their way, just one bridge across the river, Galenus took position there, waiting for the next move. Exactly what he didn't have time for, as a rebellion was soon to erupt in the province. Eugenius, on the other hand, had great success in raiding enemy lands, causing a reaction from the Scordisi to attack his position. It was time for the boy to prove he had become a man. Eugenius sent out his forces to lure out the enemy cavalry, hoping they would pursue him. With them out of the picture for now, the Scordisi infantry engaged. To protect the flanks, war dogs were released. tutor was right in calling him a gifted leader. Almost all of the losses were from foreigners and idiots stupid enough to break formation. A much better result than Gallienus, who senselessly almost lost all his Sarmatian allies in a flanking maneuver. His greed and narcissism are finally punishing him. He still won, but almost didn't. Eugenius captured Petrodava with ease. It was a brilliant choke point on our side of the mountains. As long as we try to hold the line out east, that is. Until we're ready to push in and eventually use the mountains as our defenses. The rebels were nothing for Gallienus, who unleashed the fury of the Sarmatians to run them down. If it had taken any longer than what it did, the Scudisi could have run freely through the open fields and blocked any trade coming through our lands. Yet he made it back to the bridge just in time to halt any damage being done. Both of the daughters of Acritatus had come of age as well. So far it was only the king himself and the heir Eugenius, with his high authority, who pulled all the strings. Needing for them to do their part in restoring power and influence to the Agiad dynasty, thus Aretusa was sent on a diplomatic mission to Archbosporus and the just 15-year-old Philea to our trusted Macedonian allies in Greece. Anything out of this was appreciated. Technology, gold, anything. Rumors about our rivals meeting in the shadows had come to Acritatus' attention. Knowing to keep his enemies close, he gave them important positions within his court. Of course he would do that. Only a man without any dangerous enemies could ever think of doing such a stupid thing. Asius, the 19-year-old admiral protecting our trade route, was also enticed into our dynasty in an attempt to further expand our political power. Everything that just seemed to bite us in the ass. A massive scheme to kill the entire royal family had hit the Spartans. Eugenius the heir almost died in an assassination attempt, barely surviving being able to warn the king himself. However, these warnings didn't reach the 15-year-old Philea, who of course was on a diplomatic mission in Macedon. Those monsters executed her without mercy. 15 years old. She was practically still a child for Zeus' sake. Such a foul act could never be forgotten or forgiven. We broke every treaty with them, knowing they had to die or serve as helots for the rest of their lives. For that, we needed the large slave pens, meaning seizing Odysseus was a must. Gallienus took this charge upon himself to do. He was the only one with geographic experience in Thrace. It wasn't all bad though. Our diplomatic endeavors to our Bosporan neighbors had borne fruit, gifting us the walled city of Geros, and thus full control over Sarmatia. Proper rework was needed to convert it into a trademark Spartan settlement, but all in its own time. Eugenius had finally returned to his army at last. Not at full strength to fight, however, that wouldn't stop his brilliant mind from laying an ambush with this army and scoring a close victory. Still, attempts at taking his life had no end, so he returned to Petrodava with his army and recruited a personal bodyguard to stay by his side till the end of his days. With the betrayal of the Macedonians, Acritatus was curious to know how reliable the Germanic tribes truly were. His wife Apollonia embezzled gold for the journey. Rhaene, an opportunistic woman of the Spartan court, could embark upon. As expected, they tried to end her life, but barely returned home alive, yet empty-handed. With the Swaibers added to our list of the ones we need to destroy, it was clear our only true friends were to the east. With that, Gallienus had reached the other side of the Danube and occupied Odysseus. He could have pushed on to strike at the Macedonians for an all-out revenge fight. Yet he once again made his own decision and prepared to eliminate the Daci. I assume his hatred erupted through the river battle not so long ago, but I can't be sure. I guess this is fine for now. Eugenius, finally confident he was protected from the schemes to kill him, laid siege to Sarmatian. The garrison made a hilarious effort to sally out, but got completely decimated by our Sarmatian lancers. Its walls were now ours. They would help protect all the citizens of Sparta, apart from the youngest of the Agiad dynasty. Epicellus had fallen ill and died a few weeks later. Or so is the general belief. Personally, I think he got poisoned. I have no proof of this, but I'm just saying, with everything going on lately, it is a reasonable thought. With Petrodava now undefended, the Daci made an unexpected push through the woods straight towards it. But if Gallienus could take Marv and Penandava fast enough, they would starve in the snow. In the meantime, the Squadici kept on being aggressive with a foolish siege of our new city. It didn't mean anything, but still, it's damn annoying. The last Daci forces had also escaped our grasp. Not wanting them to burn our town, we sued for peace. A temporary peace, that is. It feels bad, yet necessary. With this many betrayals throughout the last few years, it is always good to talk about the few good things happening in the world. Carthage, our ally, who still kept faithful towards us, were making incredible progress in their war effort against Rome. With their attention in Greece, they forgot the most dangerous enemy of them all. A large host of Carthaginian armies landed at Sicily, capturing the entire western part of it. Furthermore, the final North Iberian tribes were pacified, giving the Punic general Hannon a chance to take land in Transalpine Gaul, subjugate Massalia, and cross the Alps. Genoa fell rather fast and is now pushing straight for the heart of Rome. But don't kill them yet. Wait for our Spartans to take our revenge as well.